Commissioner Colleen. Chair Dobb,
Here.
you have a quorum present.
Next item.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none. Next item, please.
C, approval of the March 30th, 2022 meeting minutes.
Move their approval, Madam Chair.
Report, please. Anyone like to support the meeting minutes?
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Colleen, supported by Commissioner Basham. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next item.
D, unfinished business. There is none listed.
Next item.
Item 1, under new business, communication from Donna Wilson, Director of Personnel / Human Resources Department, forwarding report on the progress of the department's hiring initiatives and retention policies in light of the COVID-19 pandemic and how the hiring freeze could jeopardize departments from achieving their business objectives and mandated services.
Do we have any questions on item number 1? Is Ms. Wilson with us here today? Okay. Oh, I didn't see you there. Hi.
Meeting, there we go.
Could you just give us a brief summary on the report?
Donna Wilson, PHR Director. And I just want to first let the commission know that typically you'll see Joe or myself here speaking in front of the commission, but there's a whole PHR team that is behind the initiatives and the things that we're trying to do to increase recruitment and retention of Wayne County employees. But a highlight of the report is mainly to look at the recruitment activities that we've done and the process improvement activities to look at the hiring, including traditional items of career fairs, but looking at what we can do in non-traditional ways. So we have done what's called Wayne County Job App, and we use existing technology and allow us to send out job alerts throughout anybody who has the mobile app for Wayne County so that we alert individuals of job openings, and we do that on a continuous basis. We also look at opportunities to do news coverage, written, print, and media coverage. And then we've also looked at the collective bargaining agreements where we have done retention pay and pandemic stipends, which the commission has approved and seen previously. Yesterday, there were 2 collective bargaining agreements approved with wage increases. But I want to also just highlight, in addition to the general wage increases, there are classifications that we brought up to industry compensation areas. So there were specific classifications that received more than the general wage increase for that specific purpose of retention. We've looked at minimum wage, staffing levels, and then also career paths. So the juvenile detention specialist and the court clerk's office, not only do you have entry, but you have 1, 2, and 3 levels, and that's also for the RNs. So people can see a career path in their growth. That's all. Questions?
I just have one question. And I know I asked you this last time, but the salary report, is that going to be finished this month, you said?
It is. The information, the classification, so it's attachment 1 to the report that we provided you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And thank you for, there was one correction that I needed to make to the salary report, and just to highlight, when we discuss the Bridgman classification, I also want to, in the collective bargaining process, we are looking to make classifications like Bridgman to gender neutral. So bridge worker is a new classification, and there are others that we're also doing. But on this report, we put the wage increase on the wrong line. So I'll have staff correct that and resubmit it.
Okay. Thank you. Any other commissioner questions? Commissioner Colleen?
Thank you. And thank you for being here today, Ms. Wilson. And I'm really thrilled that we're undertaking this project. Lots of difficulties, not a lot of money. Could you please describe the parameters of the hiring freeze? When did it begin? Is there a sunset date for that?
The hiring freeze, as I understand it, began with the executive order, and to my knowledge, there is no sunset for it,
There's no sunset, so it's not like till the end of the fiscal year.
not to my knowledge.
Okay. Okay, because that's, as we all know, right?
Right. And even though we do have a hiring freeze, we do have a process where we are reviewing hires. It's not that we're not hiring or restricting hiring. We're just making sure that the hiring decisions are aligned with critical needs. So it's not that we're not hiring.
Which is difficult to determine because the needs are more than
Exactly.
what we have. And then when I see the phrase for meeting departmental goals, and I know we're challenged with that too, to have enough people. So I really appreciate the care that's being taken in this process that HR is going through. Thank you. No sunset.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
And I can go back and check and clarify.
Hopefully you'd
for
be the one
record.
that would know. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Basham?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I got a couple of questions. One is like, how do you determine which classifications are brought to market levels?
What we did is we used a service and looked at salaries. And so we also looked at classifications and salaries in public sector and looked at what they were paying. And so then we compared what we were paying, same like years of service, and tried to bring them up as close as we could.
If they're a union also, do you look at them also?
Yes.
Because we really have a shortage of, like, I'll give you an example. Say I'll pick on the auditors. They have 50% of the auditors they used to have, and they've been trying to hire auditors for years. And, you know, the people that are qualified, they said they can't work for that, and they're gone. And so the auditors actually are one, being I picked on them, they're a group that actually finds efficiencies in Wayne County, several million every year. That's just with the amount that they got now, and they're required by law to audit these different departments that they can't fulfill those obligations that they have per the charter of Wayne County. So that's something seriously that we need to look at as a group without pointing fingers or whatever, but also like on the sheriff's department. I have family that are in law enforcement stuff. I spend time, I just try to learn and grow. And the thing of it is, nobody wants to be a jailer for 25 years. And that's the primary responsibility of a sheriff. And what I found out is if you want to keep them, you have to give them incentive. If you stay 1 year or 5 years, you get a little bonus. Or after so many years, you can do secondary road patrols. That's the reason for those. In my opinion, it's like give them some incentive. So if you hang on for a while, you can do X, Y, or Z. But just to be a jailer for 25 years, people don't want to do it. So if human resources look at some of that stuff, I would be fully supportive. I'm just one of 15, but we got to do something to change the way we think about some of these different professions here. And let me just go one more while I budget and finance. Every year, we rely on 1 or 2 people at the most. And if they get sick or they leave the county, we're stuck. And it's like, we're putting ourselves, and I don't mean, but we're putting ourselves in a bind because we're not looking. And part of it is, you know, you got to pay a competitive wage or wage where they want to get up and come to work, or rather than go to private companies or another city or another county. So, I mean, it's huge. And this is all macro stuff that I'm talking about. But if there's anything I can do to support your efforts in doing that, I'm 110%, but thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
There are questions on item number 1. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Hearing none, can I get a motion for receive and file on item 1?
So move to receive and file item 1, Madam Chair.
Moved and supported. Madam Clerk, do we need a roll call vote on this? Oh, okay, let's just do all those in favor.
All right.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next item, Madam Clerk, can we do items 2 and 3 together?
Item 2, requesting commission approval of the appointment of Asad I. Turk to the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments. Item 3, requesting commission approval of the appointment of Beverly J. Watts to the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments.
Okay, does anyone have any questions on these items? Mr. Kandrivas, are you here to speak on these?
Good morning, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the commission. These are as labeled appointments to SEMCOG. I think in our transmittal letter, and your staff has included in the packet the slate of SEMCOG appointments. These are the alternative positions for Commissioner Killeen and also for Mr. Evans, which are currently vacant. So we would ask that these appointments be made there, and then they are effective upon approval, and people can be, they last, the term is until replacement. That's the way SEMCOG runs it, so.
Okay. Been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Commissioner Killeen, did you have you want anything?
No, I wasn't.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next item, please.
Item 4, requesting commission approval of Amendment 2 to a 1-year comparable source professional services agreement with one option to renew for a maximum of 2 years with U.S. Imaging.
This is for rekey verification services for the Register of Deeds Office. Do we have any questions or discussion on this item? Yes, Commissioner Killeen. Is your microphone on?
Turned it on. Now it is. Thank you, Madam Chair. I took note that this is a 1-year contract, and this is the second amendment to it in the first year. And now we're taking a big jump. We're increasing it, what, threefold or whatever, going from 200 to 600. So why the jump? Well, what's needed that wasn't there when this contract was first signed?
Barbara Johnson, Chief Deputy Register of Deeds. Initially, when we had that first contract, it was because we had been closed due to COVID for a while. And so we thought that the amount of documents that were going to be verified was going to be sufficient. But it was a long process. So by the time everything got approved, we were further behind than we thought we were. And so we did have that first amendment and decided that we needed the second amendment because we still have a large volume of documents that need to be verified. And we were thinking, instead of us having to go back again, why don't we just extend it out for 2 years? Just in case.
And do you have a sense that it can be done in the new time frame?
Yeah, we believe so.
Important function. I'm all in favor. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other commissioner questions? Commissioner Kniezek?
I may be reading it wrong, so if so, please feel free to correct me. So the initial contract amount was for 208,000, and that was to be able to handle the volume of documents that you had identified at that time. Is that correct or no?
The second amendment adds the additional 425,000.
Correct, but so the 208,000 number.
Was previous total that we had.
Correct, and so that number was based upon the assumption that you all had made of how many documents were.
Right.
Okay. And so is the increase of $425,000 reflective of the fact that there's more documents than you had anticipated in the initial round, and that's why there's the need for the additional funding?
Right, because in the additional round, it was a long process and we kept accumulating because each time we get a document recorded in the office, we have a group of employees that index key information from those documents like grantor, grantee, tax ID, legal description. And the verification process is to double check to make sure the index data is correct. And so it never really completely goes down because each time the document's recorded, it's indexed, and then it goes to the verification queue.
So,
So,
so I think what I'm struggling with is why there was such a large under assumption made about the number of documents that were made, such that 208,000 was set aside. And now we're coming back and looking at this and saying, we actually have so many more documents than we anticipated in the first time. It's more than double the cost of the initial contract.
well, because we were hopeful that our employees could help us catch up on that also, but it didn't pan out that way. So we need the additional help.
Like you, but respectfully, none of that makes sense to me.
Well-
So I apologize.
Yeah, well, I understand you have an opinion about it, that it doesn't make sense, but that's the way that we determined it.
Commissioner Kniezek? Any further questions?
Move approval of the item 4, Madam Chair.
Been moved. Can I get support? Moved and supported. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
We have 2 opposed or 1. Commissioner Basham, are you opposed? Okay. 2 opposed, 3 for ayes, motion passes. Madam Clerk, next item, please. Oh, let's go. Oh, yeah, we're on number 5. Next item, please.
Item 5, requesting commission approval of a 3-year contract with 1 2-year option to renew with Global Office Solutions.
Do you have any questions on this item? Actually, is there someone here to speak on this? I have a question.
Good afternoon, Aaron Wagner, Deputy Chief Financial Officer.
So this is a retroactive contract, is that correct?
No, the current contract termed at the beginning of April, but we have actually locked out the use of ordering office supplies since that contract has termed. And so it won't be opened back up, or we will not be expending any money until this new contract passes.
Okay, so we just, the old contract finished and we are no longer using their services until this new contract is approved?
Correct.
Okay.
And, I had sent a document from Global Office Supplies that they had sent out to all of the employees that order, that indicated that, you know, as of this date, you are not going to be able to order office supplies until it's reopened.
Okay. Do we currently owe them any money?
We would owe on orders that had been placed prior to the contract closing, but there wouldn't be any additional funds for new orders.
Any other questions? Commissioner Colleen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. 4.5 million over 3 years. Is this like the ordering book for an Office Depot, those kind of supplies?
Correct.
How does this include things like laptops and printers and?
No, laptops and printers aren't allowed to be ordered off of this. It's specifically paper.
So what's the general parameters?
Yeah, the papers, pens, pencils, files, there is slight, like keyboards, mice are included in this as well.
Say that again, please.
Keyboards and mice for
Oh, okay.
computers that.
Accessories.
Accessories, exactly. The headphones for the office phones. And the 4.5 million came from the prior solicitation, because we had estimated what the total cost would be over the 3-year period. We have historically come in under that budget, especially with COVID. And so, this program, each department is allocated a specific budget line item each year. And so that's what where the funds are drawn from.
And I'm going to be descriptive here, not exact, but our history shows that we burned through 1.1, 1.2 million of paper clips and pens and other things like that over a year period.
It's mostly paper because the cost of
Yeah,
paper
paper,
has
and that's
gotten
gone up.
very, very expensive. And no, it is, we will not spend up to 1.2 million. It's just, it's.
Yeah, but I mean,
which
that's
is-
what the history shows.
Yeah.
That's what we burn through, somewhere around $1 million a year.
And that will go down as the prosecutor's office just got a new case management system. So all
yeah.
of their records are going to be going digital. Working with the courts and the clerk's office, they're going digital or have been digital. So those backup paper files are going to go away. So I expect
I'm not
it will go
questioning the
down.
amount, but it
Yeah.
kind of smacks you in the face where
Mhm.
you go, really? I've never thought about this, but we're spending, we're a large organization.
Mhm.
But it was a eye-opening number.
Yep.
Like, really, do we go through that much in office supplies a year? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions? Okay, can I get a motion for item number 5?
Sure, Madam Chair, I'll move approval of item number 5.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. At this time, we are going to move to the second addenda. Madam Clerk. Yeah, and then we will come back to the first addenda.
Item 8 on the second addenda. Item 8 on the second addenda, requesting commission approval of the appointment of Mayor Bill Basie to the Wayne County Transit Authority Board of Directors.
Actually, can we take all of these items together, items 8 through 12? Because these are all appointments to the Wayne County Transit Authority. I don't know if you need to read all of those individually.
Item 9, requesting commission approval of the appointment of Mayor Bill Wild to the Wayne County Transit Authority Board of Directors as recommended by the Conference of Western Wayne. Item 10, requesting commission approval of the appointment of Mayor John Rasa to the Wayne County Transit Authority Board of Directors to serve as an alternate as recommended by the Conference of Western Wayne. Item 11, requesting commission approval of the appointment of Supervisor Pat McRae to the Wayne County Transit Authority Board of Directors as recommended by the Conference of Western Wayne. Item 12, requesting commission approval of the appointment of Mayor Robert McRae to the Wayne County Transit Authority Board of Directors to serve as an alternate as recommended by the Conference of Western Wayne.
Rivas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much for taking these up. What you have in front of you is what I call the slate of Wayne, Conference of Western Wayne appointees to the Wayne County Transit Authority. The Wayne County Transit Authority has 9 board positions. 3 of those by ordinance go to the Conference of Western Wayne. There's also the opportunities for alternates. So what the Conference of Western Wayne has done this year is appointed their 3 regular members and then offered 2 alternates, which you have in front of you. From the CEO's perspective, we don't really judge them or throw them back. We accept what they take. These are all elected members, either mayors or supervisors, and the board members of the Conference of Western Wayne. So, and then we put them on for your approval, and then you place them on the Wayne County Transit Authority. And then from there, the Wayne County Transit Authority can apply the smart millage to the rolls and vote on renewals of the smart millage.
Any commissioner questions? Commissioner Colleen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Kendrivas, the other 6 slots on the board, the Wayne County has 9.
There are 9 total slots
Yeah.
on the board.
So
Yeah.
3 of them are carved out for the Conference of Western Wayne, and we just pass them through. And I
Yep,
get
and 2
that.
of them are,
What are, for the other 6 then? What are,
2 are carved out for the DCC members, the
for
Downriver,
who?
the Downriver Community Conference, the DCC.
Yeah, they get 2?
They get 2. The CEO gets his 1 appointee on there. And then the CEO gets another appointee who has to be a member of the general public. So he has 2 on there. And then all of those members vote on another member, in which case it's currently Gary Petoniak of the, I'm blanking on SEMCA. Down in,
Yeah, I'm feeling downriver there too. Does the Conference of
Conference
East,
of Eastern Wayne, I'm sorry. I'm
Does the
talking to
Conference of
you and
Eastern Wayne
I'm
still
excluding
exist?
your member. There is a member to be, I believe the language in the statute, right, reads as appointed by those elected mayors of the,
Okay.
of the.
so we
East
have the
communities.
Eastern.
Yeah,
And is this just a matter, they're staggering the board, so those people's terms aren't up yet, the other 6?
I will be honest, it's true. And the Conference of Western Wayne does it much more regimented, where
gotcha.
they, I think maybe every year they actually go through, and when they're picking other subcommittees, they consider this one of the subcommittees. So there's a lot more action on their appointees because, well, number one, they've had some changes in leadership and mayors and supervisors who have had to come off once they lose an election. Unfortunately, we've had some deaths amongst these members, mayors and supervisors from the DCC and the Conference of Western Wayne, unfortunately. But the Conference of Western Wayne is much more regimented. They're on the ball a little bit more, let's put it that way.
But I assume the board terms are staggered too, so you don't replace, or you don't have
Correct.
9 people
No, we
all
don't.
in 1 year.
No.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions? Oh, yes, Commission Counsel.
Figure out what I was gonna say. I apologize. Through the chair. So through the chair, and Andy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the statute, neither the statute nor the articles of incorporation actually set terms. So there are no specific terms. What it says is that they serve until members are either there's a vacancy or to someone else is appointed. So when you talk about staggering terms, because they're appointed without terms, technically there are no terms, though the appointing entities can, whenever they so choose or elect, submit new nominees.
Commissioner Colleen, turn your mic on.
There we go.
Thank you.
I try to leave it up so I know whether it's on or not, and I forget to do that. So I guess it's to the credit of the Conference of Western Wayne that they're on top of this. They're just like, we're just not going to appoint people and just let it go.
Yep.
So that, now I understand your comment about how they are going about things. And to me, that's to their credit. I never liked these open-ended boards where people just serve. But anyway, thank you.
God forbid if
Thank you.
somebody should pass on the Conference of Western Wayne slate, I'm sure they would name a nominee like by the next meeting.
Yeah,
So they are on
okay.
top of it.
And I appreciate the information, Council. Thank you.
Commissioner Clark Coleman.
So we're technically just a pass through, right? We don't really.
I will say, if I can, sorry, Madam Chair. I feel like I'm the pass-through as on the executive side. We just input into the system and don't really judge the validity of these
Yeah, so-
members or not, as long as they're selected by the Conference of Western Wayne. I
So
think
we-
they
we
meet the
just-
parameters, so. Yeah.
We just receive it and vote the way they tell us to vote.
And to that point, Mr. Kendrivas, what would happen if we voted no on these items?
If you vote no, it's going to make it a lot harder to get a quorum. I think I could still get a quorum together as long as everybody decided to be available. It's really, that's the ease of a quorum. They meet once a year, and on every 5 years, they meet twice a year, and that's about it. So Scott Vandermergel might not be happy with all of us, because he always gets the paperwork when it's all done. So
You all set, Commissioner Clark Coleman?
Yeah, this is just funny.
Commissioner Colleen?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. And just to my colleague, Commissioner Clark Coleman, this strikes me as the same kind of duty that the Wayne County Board of Canvassers have. when they certify an election. It's a magisterial duty. The local clerks have counted it all. They don't really, it's not, the Board of Canvassers cannot vote no on that.
But they did.
They did, Commissioner, they did until the attorney for the two that voted no talked to them, and there was that 2 hours, and one came back and said, okay, I understand my duty here. And so it did go through, but I think this is kind of the same thing. We have a little bit of a magisterial duty here, and that's it.
Can I just point something out? Well, I'm up here for a second. If I can, Madam Chair, I
Yes.
know you got a close count session, but this is a little bit different, this transit authority, in that, you know, researching it a couple of years ago, it was created by the commission to not necessarily vote on these issues or not to do these. And it seems, I don't know if there's any other occurrences where the commission doesn't agree on language to put on a ballot and gives that to another board, or, you know, applies the millage, doesn't apply the millage itself, but has created another board to apply a millage. So, I mean, I guess that does happen, but it is different, and it's probably from a different time, but anyways.
You know what? I'm gonna move approval on it.
All right. Do we have a motion for
Makes a
approval?
difference.
And
And I
Commissioner
support, that's 8 through
Kalizic,
12,
did you
right? All of them,
support?
Commissioner?
Okay, Commissioner Kleen, you support?
I support. It's all of them, right? All 6 in one motion? I support.
Yes. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Now we will move to the first addenda.
Item 6, requesting commission approval of a settlement in the matter of Sidney Stewart versus County of Wayne in the Wayne County Sheriff's Office
Are we all set, Madam Clerk?
Yes, we're good.
Okay, we're returning out of closed session. Moving back to item number 7, 6 and 7. Sorry.
Approval of items 6 and 7.
I have a motion. Can I get support?
Support.
Been moved and supported. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motions pass. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I have none. Next item. Is
Public comments.
there anyone who wishes to address the Committee on Government Operations? Anyone who wishes to make a public comment at this time? Last call for public comments. Did we receive any emails?
No emails.
All right, next item.
Adjournment.
Been moved and supported.